Hello, everyone, and welcome along to Transfer Tales, brought to you from the Piggy Banker podcast. You're thinking the season's starting, why are you talking about transfers now? Well, there's some intriguing stories yet to develop around the European footballing market, and today we're going to talk about someone that many would assumed at the start of the transfer window would be long gone from where he is now. He's a Canadian hotshot, I bet you can guess who. But quick, first, just a little bit of housekeeping. We at the Piggy Banker podcast, we talk about European football and UK, especially the lower divisions, from start of the year to end of the year via podcast. Subscribe, follow our socials. We're available on Apple, Spotify. Our first episode of the year's out. Little Aki, if you're that way inclined. We only bet for fun, small stakes. Your average punter over 18s only. We have two wackies in the podcast currently out. One for this weekend in the EFL, featuring some of the lower leagues, and the second half of the show, delivered in 20-something minutes, talks about an anti-post ackie we've put together, which will give you an interest all year long. It's paying crazy odds to be a lot of fun if it came in. But back to the here and now, transfer tales. Let's have a look at this man we're talking about. It is, of course, Jonathan David. So Jonathan David was linked here, there and everywhere. In my opinion, he's football's favourite Canadian. He might be in yours. But Arsenal fans thought he was going there. Liverpool fans, PSG, others. Let's have a little look at the timeline of David. David v Goliath. From Haiti to European football, how did he get where he is today? The making of 2000. He was born in New York to Haitian parents. 3 months old, the family moved to Port-au-Prince, Haiti. 2006, David and his family hit the nomadic button again and emigrate to Ottawa, Canada. Hence, he's in a Canadian jersey there. Age 10, David begins his footballing journey. His odyssey is with Ottawa's Gloucester Dragons. David resists professional contracts and overtures and opportunities in both the Canadian leagues and the MLS, holding out for a dream move to Europe. Stoic, believing in himself that he would make it to European shores. Many a youngster would have bit your hand off. Imagine you, 18, 17, being offered a professional contract. He resisted, backed himself, and it paid off. In 2017, he was spotted by Ghent of Belgium. Their talent scouts spot them in a youth international. Same year, David turns down the chance to represent USA, instead pledging his allegiances to Canada. In 2018, in January, Ghent follow up on their interest, signing the budding talent. By August, he makes his debut and scores in stoppage time to salvage a 1-1 draw. 5 days later, he makes his debut in the Europa League, operating chiefly as an attacking midfielder. He racks up 14 goals and 5 assists in all competitions in the 2018-2019 season. His meteoric rise continues. The next year he produces 23 goals and 10 assists, helping Ghent finish second internationally. His rise is continuing also. In parallel, he is named Male Canadian Player of the Year. In 2020, probably it was inevitable he was going to move. There was a flock of clubs circling him. He was astutely smitten by Lille, again stoic in his decision making. He followed Luis Campos and Christophe Galtier, of course the duo now at PSG, but in 2020 they were with Lille, and they masterminded Lille winning Liga 1, toppling moneybags, juggernauts, behemoths, PSG. David initially struggled, but then he became an influential figure as Lille marched to an unlikely Liga 1 title. In 2021-2022, he featured last season in the Champions League. Lille, of course, produced a tepid and feeble defence of the Liga 1 title. The manager was poached by Nice. He's moved again already. He's with PSG now. And Campos, of course, joined the PSG revolution as well. Lot the stars constantly linked with moves away, the likes of Renato Sanchez and the rest. But David is still there. How does he stack up with his cohorts, his peers? Well, he stacks up fairly favourable in most stats. Let's get this going here. Sorry about the delay. Here we go. Hotshots under 25 years of age last season. How David compares to his peers. So we've minutes played along here, goals along here. Haaland, minutes played, 34 goals. Of course, got the big money move. Scamacca, goals, big money move. Enteke, big money move. I think I murdered his pronunciation there. Apologies. Matt Terrier, still around. Rafael Lau, Guru, Diaby, Vlahovic, Nkunku. Here's David here. There's Mbappe there. Vickers Jr. here with the Champions League medal in his back burner. David's here. All these guys have got the big money moves, one could argue. Why isn't David? Just with the French hotshots last season, Mbappe, Ben Yedder, Dembele, Terrier, Delors, Laborde, and David Sia. No, sorry. Well, why does it show Bayo is the man that has replaced David at Lille, one would assume. Lille have signed Bayo. So Bayo's here, David's here. Why are they trying to replace those goals? This is why. David represents quite a big portion of the pie of Lille's net busting last year, 32%. 15 goals, big slice of pie to replace. But he's still there. He is still there, David. He has not moved. So maybe in the closing days of the transfer window, he will move. But that's a transfer tale of today. Where's he going to go? Arsenal, spot is gone. Liverpool, they've signed someone already. Where could he go? Would Campos and Galtier want him at PSG? Possibly, one could argue. If they could get Neymar out the door, no mean feat in itself. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for your time. It's going to be intriguing to see what the next step will be for Jonathan David. One thing is for sure to date, all his moves have been shrewd and astute, and he's backed himself in. So surely he's going to back himself in again. Whoever does sign him will get a promising striker, comfortable across all the front three positions in the 4-3-3. History of being an attacking midfielder. He's got pace, suits a counter-attacking style. He's got potential. I'm amazed no one in the Premier League is taking a punt on him. Someone with endless riches like Newcastle could do a lot worse than taking a punt on Jonathan David. In my own Aston Villa, I would love him at B6. Next week we will have another podcast out with the Bundesliga kicking off. Woo! We can add them in, but the Aki and our podcast is live right now. Piggy Bankers podcast. Check it out. Give us a go. Thanks for your time. See you next time. Adioso, adioso.